answer to deny Xayah Rakan. So far, the Swain that I was calling for will be contested. I'm wondering about this pick for Bebe and whether it actually will be the Xayah.
Well, I think Sejuani sort of stands out in my mind as an LCK draft observer, but the Skarner is going to be what's going to happen in the hands of an LMS team. GRX going to take away the little Scorpion, and now Spirit. He's got Xayah in his hands if he wants it. Kuro can grab whatever he wants. Afreeca Freecs. They could even get Morgana here for the ultimate final strat.
Whether they take Sejuani now or not will actually be an early spoiler to me and you and I would say, of whether it's going to be Xayah Rakan funnel. I think it will be. Spirit has Ignite, also usually a spoiler, but the reason why I say that is Sejuani is seen in Korea as a winning matchup into Skarner for the longest time, because whenever there's an objective match, you just ult the Skarner and then smite away the objective. You always go for the Skarner first and try to trivialize the Skarner ultimate as kind of a required thing. You're just using it defensively so you don't die. So they actually take Darius, which may end up being a pick for multiple different people on this team. It's a bit of a blocker for the Mundo. Maybe they don't even have to ban Mundo. On the side of GRX, what have they claimed? Well, the reliability of the engage is certainly higher. And usually when we see something like the Morgana, which may in fact be Stitch, an old player from Samsung Galaxy, picking that one up, that would mean probably another melee carry to get more damage out of the lineup for GRX.
We have to remember that Kuro can play anything on that bottom side of the map, assuming that's where he's going. The dude has a pretty extraordinary champion pool.
We really need to assume nothing about what's going on for the side of the Afreeca Freecs. So many different things they could do. And that is why, to me, Xayah Rakan flex on the blue side is insanely scary, because either you opt into funnel or you opt into beefing up your bot lane so you don't lose to Xayah Rakan. Something that can be a funnel but also a winning 2v2 is the biggest headache as a drafting coach, so hats off to GRX if they problem solve their way out of this one.
Well, the Vladimir is going to be their first ban. Galio going to be taken away as well to avoid having the Rakan Galio engage, which is absolutely bonkers. Now, one final ban for the Afreeca Freecs after the cannon was taken away, possibly aimed at PK there towards the top side of the map, the star player here for GRX, and a bit of a Jax Lord as well, having played that one a couple of times so far, likes his carries on the top side.
When we see cannon bans in the LCK on 8-12, it's a Mundo coverage pick. We're not sure where the Darius is going, and they also have Darius to threaten the Mundo. I imagine if Mundo isn't selected, they take Darius and Mundo as a potential on the blue side, but we're focused on GRX here.
Yeah, and also the Gangplank being banned away has been an answer for the Mundo as well when there is a funnel comp going on around him. As Kuro thinking about an old favorite here in the Syndra.
Very heavily expecting it to be Swain, but it still could be a different matchup in the mid lane. There is all sorts of flex potential still involved on the GRX side.
And also,
old favorite, it will be Kuro on the Syndra.
Yeah, and where is he going to go with it as well? I guess we'll find out as Tucson locks in what he wants to take. It's not going to be a Tahm Kench, it's not going to be a Morg, but it certainly could be his infamous Shen. Still does leave things a little bit up in the air, but I don't think we're going to have Jungle Shen in this particular meta.
It seems like Syndra Shen, the Darius in the top lane, and Xayah Rakan as the funnel. Now, you could have Syndra in the top lane. Sounds like a ridiculous thing, but we had it into a Darius already in the LCK. That was played by Hanwha Life Esports, one of our top 5 teams over in Korea, the former ROX Tigers. So let's see what happens here. So many different things going on. Opting into Mundo versus Darius is some big spheres, as Syndra would look at it, but he's going to go for it anyway. Interesting little choice here from GRX. They do it for the composition, because there is always that chance you get enough items on Mundo, you run at Syndra, you run at Xayah, you just effectively body block them out of a fight. That's what Mundo does best. But on a simple level, you're going to have to hope your jungler's camping top lane, otherwise Xayah Rakan farming, and Darius going to have a free lane against the Mundo.
Yeah, and also you've got Kuro and Tucson down towards the bottom side of the map. This could be the opportunity for GRX. Of course, Stitch, no stranger to the LCK, having played for Samsung, but they're going to have to try and punish where they can against the Afreeca Freecs and take that lead and make it larger.
So many layers to what Afreeca have done here and where they have wins and losses, where the trades have been made, because there's no straight up wins in draft. You have to sacrifice somewhere. One simple point, Syndra outranges Morgana, can harass through the Black Shield. If a taunt lands, and also there's some spears on the Rift as well, there's always one rotation kill threat, like the Taliyah Shen lane that took the LCK by storm.
Yeah, exactly right. Well, coaches are going to shake hands. Afreeca Freecs looking for redemption here at Rift Rivals, wanting to take down their LMS rivals in GRX. Remember, last time they ran this style of funnel, neither the Xayah or the Rakan died. in that game. It was aiming, piloting it though. Spirit's Rakan, however, was beautiful to watch.
It feels so facetious to talk about whether someone's ready to play marksman when they're an AD carry, but it is the first game of the season here on the pro level for Kramer. Aiming has played more games. It's been Darius and friends for Kramer when he's played, so going to be interesting to watch. A lot of smiles. A Raiwan from Kuro, one of the big characters formerly of the Rocks Tigers in 2016, making his international reintroduction. He definitely doesn't want to be swept as the Afreeca Freecs come in a strong second seed from the LCK.
And also so confident most of the time. And remember, he was solo killed by Scout in the mid lane yesterday.
He remembers that, for sure.
He certainly remembers that, wanting to try and...
And he's straight out of that lane, Atlas. Said, damn this, I'm going bot.
He was done, and then he was out of that particular match with a defeat on his hands as well. So, Rift Rivals for LCK, it all hangs in the balance here. They need to win. The Afreeca Freecs need to win this to keep their region alive and available for that first place. Summoner's Rift, we're here. We'll see whether they can do it. The funnel strategy, this is the good one for the Afreeca Freecs. They've got the Rakan, they've got the Shen in the hands of Tucson. This is a much better looking draft for them this time around.
Korean-style funnel comp is this Xayah Rakan. First to do it on the LCK level, that was SK Telecom T1 bringing it out. It's first played in Challengers by the ES Sharks. The reason why I'm such a big fan of it compared to other funnels, you think Kai'Sa Braum is probably the most well-known one, is that if you actually put Kai'Sa Braum bot lane, they lose a lot of 2v2s against both bruisers and standard marksman support. It's not a super powerful lane. A ranged support already will do a number. Xayah Rakan can funnel with the best of them, and also, oh no, we can't run the funnel. You've got Xayah Rakan, one of the strongest possible duo lanes. So the flexibility is so big on the Xayah Rakan that basically every jungler has had to be able to pick up the Rakan, and we kind of have a tier list of autofill Rakan players from the support role. To me, the most impressive was Peanut, maybe not that surprising, very mechanical player, but Spirit certainly got there when we saw him play it as well.
Well, this is going to be a change-up for GRX. They are going to shove the mid lane in, but with their duo lane. So we are going to have that 2v2 that you were talking about, but the Afreeca Freecs want to be ducking into the jungle, utilizing that smite that Kramer has picked up. So they'll need to shove this one forward, and can they get it done? Double knock-up comes in from Spirit as Stitch, immediately ignited Afreeca Freecs. They want to get back to their funnel style of play. They want none of this from GRX.
They walked in with a red buff, and they didn't respect it enough. Rakan and, of course, Tucson, so decisive on his engages. You get the flash out. Now, if they try to get tricky and contest any camps, they're going to have the potential to be taken down, Arcane Shift or no. So nice little heads-up play from the master of the Rakan. And that was Spirit this time, not Tucson. So the inspiration from Tucson clear. The execution, very nice from Spirit.
Yeah, and what it's going to equal is a 1 versus 2 on the bottom side of the map, and a jungle that's certainly open for Bebe to farm. Afreeca Freecs wanting to shove this lane forward, but also wanting to zone PK out of as much experience as possible.
But let's rewind the tape, and not to what I mentioned about Tucson a moment ago, but actually all the way back to 2015, 2016. What about grouping that wave and turret diving the Mundo, who isn't really too strong? Free level, say 7, 8, and some health items. You definitely want to consider the freeze and also the shove. There's always reasons to do one or the other. The shove, if you're going to be playing elsewhere, could be useful to get turret damage. Remember, there's no fortifications on the bot side. So GRX are giving up turret damage as a reward, but if you're ready for the dive, then the dive can be big as well. So it's all so different. They don't have a traditional jungler, but given that they blew the flash from Ezreal, there's actually a lot of different options here for the Afreeca Freecs.
Well, Afreeca Freecs haven't been able to take too many camps around this map. The blue buff has been up for a very long time, and Bebe, he's been farming happily. You can see the jungler almost even with Kramer on the side of GRX. This might be one of the fancy answers we're going to see to the funnel, having this duo lane here, assuming that bottom lane's going to be okay. Is Koala taking some damage, but Black Shield stopping him from getting knocked up. Still has to flash as now Stitch. He has to deal with it. Not a lot of mana here as Tucson. He could get the flash to get in there. Ignite goes down. It's first blood being picked up for Afreeca Freecs, and Spirit isn't even going to die. Tucson's so good.
Super creative dive, but no coverage around the mid lane from the Skarner. Means they actually get the roam from bot lane to work. How much does it mean? We do have teleports and those shorter death timers in the first 6 to 7 levels. So actually, a lot of the blushes are spared what happens with the changes on 8-13 is that if you get a kill pre-level 8, which is when the death timers are the same, you get to lane so much faster, up to 6 seconds faster, that you can't even shove it fast enough, and you don't have teleport on Kramer or Spirit, so you don't actually get the lane control, you just get the kill gold onto the side of Afreeca, and that's the kill gold on what is effectively a River Shen, a roaming support Shen.
Yeah. You can see as well that Kramer has decided that he wants to be able to get around this map as quickly as possible. Berserker's Greave's going to be the first pick up here for the Xayah. There's Stitch. Able to get a lot of work done here on the turret, and they lost a few creeps. Did the funnel. So we're just going to move the Shen back towards the bot lane.
I like how he thought about the scan. I was like, wait, no, that's right.
Yeah,
he's just on the blue side, guys. But it is confusing in a lot of ways what's going on, and observers aren't the only ones being trolled with situations like this. As this is where we're going. We're down under now.
I think we should probably put the Mundo in the bottom.
You know, some people right now are very unhappy. People who like their champion lists to be very easy to read are very unhappy.
Yeah, this one's real confusing.
When I started casting, there wasn't the ability to reorder the spectator. This was back in 2012.
Yeah.
So actually the admin, when the pro players joined, would say, enter top mid, jungle mid bot support. Imagine how mad he would be in this meta, Atlas.
Oh yeah, that dude would be ordering them around so much, and they wouldn't even be able to do anything about it.
He would definitely be a new meta aider. 8-13, not good for him. Sorry, mate.
I remember those times because you got yelled at if you were in and not in the spectator slot. Oh man, I got yelled at so many times.
Well, you're gonna get yelled at by me in this game at some point. Hopefully, we're waiting for some big action. I want to admit that the nice thing about GRX going for a 1v2 bot lane, which we saw earlier this tournament, just lead to a fast turret. You'll remember that happened with RNG trying to dodge the Mordekaiser lane, is that the threat of the dive is so much lower. You don't really think Spirit's going to go bot lane. We thought about it, but it wasn't realistically going to happen unless he had a very long leash. So actually Mundo can throw out cleavers and try to last hit from range. He's probably not going to get dived by 3 people. Afreeca were caught between stacking the wave and absolutely going for turret damage. The turret isn't down. And now the reinforcements are no longer a relevant thing post 5 minutes. So with funnel, maybe something like this lane swap could actually become more and more normal because you don't give up as much as in any other scenario with an enemy jungler actually patrolling the rift.
Yeah, you also have your jungler with a whole lot more camps to grab as well, because we saw funnels running all over the place, but that's the dive that you were talking about. The flash taunt does come in. We've got the knock up from the grand entrance. The ignite is down. Ultimate comes in from the Darius, and he's going to pick up the kill as well. It's Keen. He's on the board. Not quite finding the CS numbers against Wuji on the top side of the map, that's certainly able to grab that kill, will help him out.
But damn, it was narrow, Atlas. They didn't get the pre-5-minute dive like we mentioned. Finally, they patrol over with Spirit, but it's post-ult. It's post a couple of items coming in. We were wondering, could they pull off the execution? Afreeca clean in a way they weren't yesterday. They had a nice draft, but the solo kill from Scout, the hard carry from Scout, it meant nothing from the Afreeca Freecs. This time we zoom in. Nice execution. And I guess we should fall back and remind our viewers, what do we expect against the funnel comp, against an over-level, power-farmed Xayah? We usually say in the LCK, can you take down 3 outer turrets pre or at 15 minutes and also grow a gold lead? That's kind of the minimum standard, because you just crest into the 20 to 25 minutes moment. We just saw a game end with a 22-minute team fight from a team behind and then 1 push ending the game. If that happens, and you have a Xayah who has 1.5 items and a lot of experienced lead, it's almost impossible to lose a team fight barring a super play from the enemy team. So given where the game is at, how much snowball there is, 20 to 30 minutes, if you don't actually put the hurt onto Xayah and let her just balloon a huge CS lead, more often than not, you're going to win the game. Xayah is actually 11-1 in the LCK, largely around funnels in recent memory. So we're looking at timings from GRX, and understandably, given the actual nameplates were involved here, GRX are a little bit behind the clock at this point.
Yeah. And I mean, I felt like the strategies that GRX were employing, even earlier in the day, were good. I enjoyed them a lot. It was just a lot of the execution that they did fall down on. So if they can clean that up, still think that there are opportunities this game, and I've liked the fact that they moved their duo lane to the mid lane.
I actually like the fact that Afreeca, if they did extensive scouting of GRX, if you watched it in the LMS, if you talked to analysts, slow team. They're very much slow starters. It's why this meta has caught them off guard with all the lane swaps and also the game times and how early the game can be decided. If you know a team is slow and won't punish you, why not go for the comp that does its own thing? And then if you haven't been taken advantage of pre-20 minutes, you win much more often than not. And that is what the funnel represents at the patch 8.13 power level. So Afreeca haven't been punished. They have a gold lead with the funnel. It's not a hilarious CS lead for the Saya yet, but she was involved in a kill, so it's still going to be pretty happy. And the side lane turrets, they're so far from going down. In fact, have they even taken a speck of dust?
Not as of yet, Papa Smithy. And also, we've got Warrior and Champ being picked up now for Kramer. As you can see, PK taking so much damage from Keen. This is not the Gragas this time around. This is what we want for our Asia Games representative. Keen has been so aggressive on so many of his picks. Hell, I mean, when he first made his way into the LCK, he played Riven. The guy's a beast. Now on the Darius, certainly going to associate that with aggression. His Spirit's going to get out a Dark Binding, but it's not going to land.
Definitely kind of represents the evolution a lot of IG fans are looking from the Shy, where his lane dominance is really what they want. Keen has the lane dominance, been able to pair it with the more controlled performances this year that were development for him, and that's why he got the nod, going to Asia Games as the top laner in a league that already had Khan, Smeb, and so many other players. Was a big compliment to his development, and it's kind of awesome that it was just a couple of match days ago that the Afreeca fans were handing out the 1-year anniversary of his debut. So we've seen a year. We're already impressed with Keen. Apparently the sky's the limit when it comes to the future.
Yeah, and we have to remember as well, I mean, that was, so far this season, he has not played a tank at all. I think Gragas in the last game was the closest thing to a tank that he's played for the last, many months. He's been on Aatrox duty on almost every single game, as well as the Darius that he's employing here today. So the Afreeca Freecs going back to what has made them successful so far in the LCK in this current meta. And Frostgren was talking about it a lot. She really loves the Afreeca Freecs for their read on the meta. I felt like their last game wasn't a demonstration of that. It wasn't necessarily one of the drafts that we've seen from them that has been impressive. This time around, though, this is a draft that almost works every single time if you make it to a certain number on the clock.
And it's doing that very reliably here. The reason we can talk about such overarching and out-of-game points is Afreeca just kind of been farming. There's always that threat onto the bot lane, and they're going to try again.
Yep, Tucson does get never moved as Wuji just throws down the Demonic Ascension, but is it going to be enough? Kuro, that is a flash ball peg, and he's going to be able to pick that one up, but doesn't go for it.
Actually took Ghost there with the Unsealed Spellbook. That's why he walked up. Yep. Keen on the top side. Remember, he has Executioner's Calling.
Yep, that's the real strong part of the axe, too, that PK got hit with. Executioner's Calling is going to help with the sadism, but PK just backs off. It's going to be Afreeca Freecs against the flow of the composition, taking first turret on the bottom side of the map and first dragon at the same time. They are walking over this map.
The side lanes are winning Atlas. That's the real big thing to remember, is they're getting kills. They've drafted winning side lanes also, and now they're even walking up to contest. So far, the Eye of the Herald not picked up. There it is.
Yep, baby, gonna have to flash the wall, and everyone is. That's 3 flashes for a Rift Herald. Can Afreeca Freecs use this time to challenge GRX?
Hear a bit of a murmur from the crowd. They know that was a scared move by GRX. Yeah. They were terrified of there being any further engage. No mind games about that one, and now Afreeca Freecs is pushing up. If they can also crest a second turret, a 2-turret lead would be insane.
Yep. Well, Vision of Empire not going to get too much damage onto the Afreeca Freecs, but helps clear out the minion wave. But that tower is very sure to fall very, very soon. You were mentioning the health bars of the turrets. They're going to need Shelly plus some to try and take these ones down. Even the mid lane not suffering too much, given the fact that GRX had a duo lane in there for the majority of the time, is surprising. The Ezreal does have his Sheen now, but didn't have it earlier on. Still looking to try and stack that tier, get himself to that 2-item spike that we always talk about. Dark Binding's good. That's exactly where Tucson wants to be. Tanking up the minion wave, avoiding turret damage.
Yeah, this game has just played out so stock standard from Afreeca. This is the sort of game that they could have played in tutorial and perfected it there, then brought it on to scrims and then onto the main stage, because it's really been about what they've done and just about understanding how to maximize the farm onto the Xayah, who now does have a mountain of CS, 193. Those are Uzi plus 50 numbers, and that lets you know that he's doing super, super well. They're able to even pull off some dives. There's been some very nice little dive play coming through from the Afreeca Freecs. And just coming back to the team in general, when it comes to their drafting that we usually praise, I'm kind of struck by the fact that scouting this team must be a nightmare because outside of Keen, focusing on himself and playing carries, everyone else could be jungling or funneling. Kuro's equally happy to be mid lane or bot lane. Has played so many one-off champions just to find an edge in a 1v1. That creativity is something that even teams in the LCK have struggled to deal with, and so far, GRX have been second to so many of the plays against a comp. If you're second to, you straight up lose.
Well, they're looking for Kuro here. Misses the first cleaver, though, as PK is getting a bunch of his health back. He's got movement speed, but he gets stunned up, and now Afreeca Freecs in a decent position. No Xayah to offer the damage, but Tucson, he's going to get in there anyway, and Keen, he's the one with the damage. Lands the smash, as now Bebe, he should fall down as well. That's a lot of orbs, and that's a lot of death for GRX. They're cowering under their turret, but there's 5 members of the Afreeca Freecs, and this is not over. They probably should just take the turret, but they're still posturing for more damage.
No one told the Afreeca Freecs not to play with your food. They're playing with their food, Atlas. That was with Xayah not even there, and she's the one that has most of the gold. Perfect game pace in the first 15 minutes. Afreeca Freecs dismantling GRX.
Yeah, this feels like seasons past Afreeca Freecs where they win every single first game. Thankfully, in best of ones, every game's a first game, Papa Smithy.
Afreeca Freecs 2016-2015, best NALCS team ever.
Absolutely. Send them to Europe as well. It doesn't even matter. You can just play best of ones all over the place. However, wasn't represented yesterday. Glad they're going back to their roots here today because this is dominance. They got multiple perfect games, if I remember correctly, in that season. It's feeling like that yet again. We've got Swifty Boots coming in for Keen as well. That's what you want to see against all the cleavers. Coming out from PK. Let's have a look at this fight once again. Tucson, knowing exactly what he wants to do.
Initial thought from GRX is great, which is let's just kill the Syndra. It's over a control ward, and Afreeca scout out this play, and they're able to come in with just a beautiful teleport. Keen keeps the minion alive and is able to actually come from behind as the Darius. He's able to apprehend, and then you can see Stitch walks over, can't do anything. So many people zoned from this fight. Afreeca Freecs, they're playing the chess, and sadly the checkers of GRX is just not enough.
Yeah, it's not working. There's Shelly, he's going to get mad at Keen, but that's only half the health bar of the turret. We were talking about this earlier on. They need to be able to break through. What did you say, 15 minutes? They got to get rid of all 3 turrets? It's almost what the Afreeca Freecs have managed to do over the other side of the map. 5,000 gold lead now. For the LCK representatives, remember this is so important. They lost their first match against EDG, and EDG, they were playing out of their minds, especially from the mid lane, and now getting some redemption.
And to me, what does this match represent? To me, it's a warning shot, and not by the Afreeca Freecs, but of the meta. If you can allow a team to play a Xayah, Rakan, or any damn funnel, and have side lanes doing well, you need to come up with multiple creative ways pre-20 minutes to answer it, or the game may just be decided around it. If I'm thinking of GRX, I'm thinking I'm like a Nasus player, getting the last hits, I'm stacking up my Q, but my side lanes all lose and the game's over, I get kited in one fight, I can't do anything. It feels like this game has happened around so many players of GRX.
Do they win this?
Maybe.
Double
maybe
apprehend
not.
comes in. Keen gets stopped by the stopwatch, but Bebe, he has the full passive, and Tucson makes his way in. Keen survives for so long, gets the double kill before he falls as Wuji trying to zone. They want Tucson, but he's got flash, and he gets out of there 2 for 1, and Keen got all the work done.
Nice timing from GRX because Xayah wasn't there, and yet the nice timing only gets them a 1 for 2. It's certainly not ideal. It staves off the perfect game. Those are the moves GRX need to be making at 5 minutes, at 6 minutes. They had the unknown factor of the true jungler against a team that had no jungler, just a hard farming Xayah. Nice idea. They can do that 2 or 3 more times against expectation, against the huge gold lead that Afreeca already has. Maybe it means something, but the resting state is turrets being taken and more destruction for the Afreeca Freecs.
Yeah, and the only thing that GRX can take home at the moment is the fact that they denied that perfect game that you were talking about earlier on. We've got Cloud into Infernal Drake. I'm wanting a Mountain next for the Earth, Wind, and Fire, but not in the right order, as the Afreeca Freecs are going to take this one down. Let us know what's happening next, and it's going to be, it's not September yet, but it feels like it is, Papa Smithy.
This game is a big contrast to the previous funnel game that we saw run by a Korean team. That was Kingzone.
Yeah, it wasn't
earlier
so
today.
good that time around.
That was with a real duo lane. This, of course, was the lane swaps. They tried to be creative around that. You do see Atlas, the one thing they lost going for the 1v2, because we liked the fact that they was able to keep up the turret and the fact that they were able to stay competitive and there was no jungler to threaten a dive. What you don't like is think about what Flash Wolves were able to monopolize. That was, of course, the Drakes. because there's no enemy jungler. You have two in the bot lane. You're able to create a lot of pressure in many lanes. In this game, because they haven't had a lot of side lane pressure, the funnel comp team has been able to pick up the Drakes as well, and that's usually not an acceptable thing.
Well, Spirit's thrown down the quickness very quickly. Oh, that's an awkward thing to say,
right,
but he
again,
dodges the Dark
again.
Binding, and thankfully there's no engage, so I didn't have to actually follow up on that awful comment. Stitch not going to get stunned up as Koala flashes in. It's going to get two mobilities out of the Afreeca Freecs. They just get themselves out of there, disengage all too easy, and they'll now start the fight on their own terms, and Keen will destroy their base.
High value flash, 2 for just the 1 of the Morgana, but that's the resting point, is the top lane. Darius keeps pushing. He wasn't going to be able to be there. That's why Afreeca had to be safety first. Yeah, Tucson has creative summoner spells of Cleanse Ignite. Yeah,
and the reason I said all that silly stuff before is because I was wanting to add to your point from earlier on, and that was the fact that Gang has been utilized so beautifully against compositions based on carries. Having that zone control of the cannon barrage that's global is beautiful to see, and that was meant in the second round by the Afreeca to make sure that they couldn't answer this funnel competition and this theoretically one-threat comp with the Ultra Farm Zaya, which is actually that, given how strong Kuro are this game.
The breaking point was with the game plan gone, like you mentioned, being Mundo in his Darius, which already necessitates so many creative things to avoid a laning phase. And now being more child as well, would like to see something else. A lot of map control with the 3 outer trucks down. The vision here on the swing.
Tucson just doesn't care anything at the moment. Did manage to grab that first spot, of course, as you remember. 100% kill contribution, certainly on MVP pace right now. He's been all the right places, doing all the right things so far this game. We'll see whether he keeps it up. Play caller going to make sure that those minions don't exist, as Kramer having a great time in his first funnel of the season. As PK having to deal with Keen, taking a lot of damage. Trinity Force, of course, already done. Keen building towards Hysterics by the looks of things.
Not going to take any more structure damage in that moment, though. Everyone will back away. We're still waiting for the next big moment of this game, but Afreeca will be the happier ones, given they're still growing a huge CS lead and onto the side. They've paid their taxes, and they have a huge gold lead. So it seems like the tax season was very beneficial to the Afreeca Freecs. They got a big windfall from this one.
Yeah, and a financial year was certainly a good time for the Afreeca Freecs. Nicely done. And BF Sword now in the back pocket of Kramer, has himself his QSS, but it looks like it's going to be the Infinity Edge coming in before that is even turned in to the Mercurial Scimitar. Having a great time, and I feel like Afreeca Freecs, they can do whatever the hell they want at this point in the game.
I'm going to give them a little bit shorter of a leash than you're alluding to, just because look at the items that are done, 7,000 gold behind. They do have Zhonya's Rod of Ages. Swain has an identity, can control space. Yeah. The Mirror Mana and the Trinity Force have been complete for a while. When it comes to item timings, they have core item timings that mean that with excellent execution, a team fight could win. You're right, it is trying to be glass half full, but this is more competitive than the gold lead shows right now, but only just.
Yeah, hitting those spikes certainly important, but probably should have been a little bit earlier, theoretically, but it's generally my job. I got to be the glass half full guy. Sorry, Puppy, you should probably be the cynical.
It is a different one where you're the disappointed parent and I'm trying to be like, well, you know, like, maybe college will work out.
Well, I don't know.
High school was a bit of a miss.
It's going to be rough. I mean, if this is like trying to be a lawyer, they're failing the bar at this point. The LSAT's going to be a real problem. Been watching a lot of Suits recently.
I've noticed.
But still, split push is happening. Kuro, a little bit of an unorthodox one, but he has teleport as the Syndra. He can certainly head towards his top side. He's having a great time. 207 CS. We're not going to look at Kramer's farm. 150 ahead of everybody else, apart from Keen, who's just going to solo kill the Mundo. Didn't have very much time to play-by-play that particular 1v1. But that's a dead Mundo, and now potentially a dead Koala, as the Dark Binding is going to be easily avoided by the Afreeca Freecs. And they're just going to try and take everything.
It's a full court press. They've had 4 back control wards on Baron, 4 control wards on Baron. They know there's not even an inkling that they're going to be doing Baron if there's 2 members on it, because there's 4 gone. Perhaps they're doing Baron.
Well, Bebe, they're looking for the fight here as Bebe dives forward, but the quickness is fantastic, and he just explodes the Skarner. Not going to be able to get too much done, but does manage to make sure Spirit dies and somehow gets his way out. Now, Kramer's just running away, and this is a beautiful fight for GRX. They had no right winning anything at this point in the game, and they do so, but they lose a large chunk of their base.
Really peculiar fight where multiple members of Afreeca go down. They lose their inhibitor turret, but crucially, not the inhibitor lost for the side of GRX, so they're starting to once again find a way to at least delay what feels like an inevitable. But if enough fights like that happen, Atlas, maybe it doesn't matter.
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier on. Rogue Warriors also stifled a little bit towards the end of their match today. So we'll see whether it's going to be the same as Afreeca Freecs do their very best.
Big item completion from Kramer. He has the Infinity Edge now, so fat stack of AD, and also his crit multiplier is online.
He's got himself a stopwatch as well, so a lot of safety here for Kramer. We've got 4 control wards around this Baron, a lot of deep wards here on the top side. They've even managed to grab the crystal spires around the map as well. Now the Afreeca Freecs just wanted to shove this mid lane forward and throw all of the money onto Kramer yet again.
While GRX got those kills, they could never actually take control around Baron, and that's the final frontier for Afreeca. Gonna watch the replay.
The first decimate,
but
and
in
still
Apprehend,
kills it.
Look at how much damage he actually gets. In fact, ulting there as the Mundo helped the ultimate from the Darius. He wouldn't have enough time to regen. Watching this fight, it's a bit of a curious one as Bebe goes in. Goes in, tries to get the ult, but of course the QSS was there. The target selection wasn't clear, but then caught in a binding forever, it feels like, on multiple members. It ends up being pretty decent for the side of GRX.
Yeah, Kuro managing to escape that one as Keen now having to deal with PK and Stitch. He's going to land the Mystic shots. Even Koala's going to make his way in, but that's the Mundo dead. Oh God, Stitch, he's just going to fall. It's a double. Could it be the triple kill? The perfect timing from Keen. And Koala now has to run away. There's nothing you can do. That's a 2-for-0. That's why he's our Asia Games representative.
And then pick up the Baron at the same time, Atlas, you heard.
Cake and eat it too, my friend.
Absolutely, with a cherry on top. As that's what happens, you hear the pre-game interview. You heard the member of GRX say, I've been watching Keen, this guy's damn good. Well, that was what a Fed Darius can do to you.
Yeah, good lord, just ridiculous. Not even 3 people able to stop this man. And now Afreeca Freecs are going to take absolutely everything. Inner turret in the mid lane going to the first victim. Remember, no inhibitor turret on the bottom side of the map means they can just head there if they want to, but they want to take all the standing gold they can and layer these pockets for the last push. Kuro, he set this one up. Vision of Empire not going to do anything to these Baron buffed minions. It's another turret to easily go down. Still, 2.5 minutes of the Baron buff, and GRX only have their base to defend.
Such a dagger to the heart, that play by the Darius. Hopefully we get a replay of it, but for that to happen, for them to send multiple members to at least deny a Baron buff onto the Darius, they understood they would be losing Baron, making that play, but at least the split pusher, who had already split pushed an inhibitor turret, wouldn't have the buff. But to lose both is just a true dagger through the heart. Now the gold lead, comically large, 15,000-ish at the 27-minute mark. Everyone overloaded with items, and it seems like Afreeca Freecs, whether they want to make it 3 lanes or 1, should be able to find a way to close this game.
Yeah, Kuro's going to be able to grab himself this blue buff. 7-1-1 on Keen's Darius. GA just built, I believe, out of a stopwatch. And yeah, just don't know whether 5 people can deal with this Darius now. Gonna have a look at it again. The 1 versus 3.
My favorite thing about this team fight is that the entire time he has his stopwatch open. When will he use it becomes a question, but he's got the Sterix already. This is Darius getting resets, and he doesn't even die on the back end. As Morgana understands, I need to run away the moment the binding goes wide.
Yeah. And Trishov comes in. They're trying to go for this fight, but Kramer is going to get out of the way of the Soul Shackles and now able to pick up the kill against the Morgana. It's all going wrong for GRX, but has it already before that. Keen popping off in the fight. He picks up the double kill. It's a double for Kramer as well, and they just let the Skarner go. They want to take down these structures. They want to get out of this game and claim their first win at Rift Rivals 2018. That's going to be it. That's going to be the full house. Darius full of Kramers, and they take down the Nexus. GRX, they couldn't do it. The funnel was beautiful from the Afreeca Freecs.
And a great scouting mission as well, to understand that the Afreeca Freecs looks at GRX and says, this is a slow team, we can probably get the funnel off, but then to execute it so beautifully to have all their turrets up. In fact, a 3-turret-to-0 lead, a close to perfect game. You can see the GRX squad are definitely shattered after that loss, but this is the Afreeca Freecs I introduced yesterday. Sorry on that one, a bit of a mulligan on their international debut. The backup performance, though, was beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic stuff. Of course, to be expected, but fantastic to see them finally stepping up on the international stage, because honestly, we don't know what to expect when it comes to Korea on the Rift Rivals stage, and it looks like GRX didn't know what to expect when the Afreeca Freecs were coming around to shake their hands. Going to now, it was a deserved win and a strong win from Afreeca.
Our Korean LCK experience is if you leave Xayah Rakan open for a team on either side of the draft, you lose. It's why we've seen so many Xayah takeaways by the LCK teams from other regions going, wait, we can't give over Xayah Rakan. Our scrims, our stage experience has shown us what will happen if that happens. They get it here, they're able to pilot it. This time Spirit on the Rakan, not even Tucson, famous for the pick. A bow to the crowd from the Afreeca Freecs. It sets the stage for that final match. It's all going to be about RNG against Kingzone once again. It was the one match in MSI that was going to crown a winner. It's going to do it again tonight.
Exactly. We're going to find who has the first seed heading into our playoffs. Of course, second versus third is going to happen tomorrow, and then the following day, the winner of that versus whoever comes out on top in our next matchup. Huge damage done by Keen, of course. It's a gold graph that you could just slide down happily if you're an Afreeca Freecs fan.
But Atlas, Keen did 47% odd damage of his team. Just doing some quick maths here. Shout out to Quick Shot. This is what happens when you let a Darius get going.
This is also supposed to be Kramer
funnel the Darius comp.
Yeah, oh, that's
what we were
doing.
talking about.
Funnel the enemy champions into the
decide
Darius
at the end of the game
lane,
who's getting funneled.
and he kills all of them. I forgot about that. Well, Kramer's wasting his time with these minions.
I know what the post-game thread should say. Just a funnel comp.
Yeah, a funnel comp.
Standard funnel
Standard funnel.
Yep.
The Darius funnel. Absolutely. Well, let's throw it back to the analyst desk to see what they made of the Darius funnel.
Standard.
Standard. Just a funnel comp.
Yep.
As it was. That's all it was. That's the end of the analysis.
Yeah, there wasn't like a 20-0 Darius running around just dunking
No,
on
the kills
everyone.
onto Darius.
It was so brutal. Just slam dunking over and over and over. Suarez, walk us through how this happened, because this wasn't just like, oh, he's a Darius, it's gonna happen.
Wait a second. I can't hear you over the crowd because RNG are taking the stage.
What are you saying?
Right behind you as well.
But like, just to get back on track, because they're coming on stage, as you can be here behind us. But ultimately, like, I really, really loved the 2v2 being put in the mid lane immediately. GRX actually utilized an RNG classic when they went and placed two people in the mid lane to counteract the funnel composition. So they said that actually you're staying mid lane. You're not going to be going to your camps. So the problem was the execution. As we roll the replay, Ezreal Morgana does not do very well versus Rakan Xayah, especially with red buff early. The problem is you try to walk in, and then Rakan just makes your life a living hell. And so immediately, Koala heads back. This time around, you have Shen who's going to net you the kill. So Stitch and Koala,
Surprise!
2 times in a row, mucking up, essentially.
Yeah.
A proper strategy to make it so the funnel composition was set behind. It was a great idea, but the coach was unhappy about the execution.
That was such a swiggity-swooty. I'm coming for that booty. I'm like,
River Shen strikes again. Yeah, just appearing out of nowhere. And of course, like you said, just setting that behind, that opened up Keen to freely play against that bottom lane. I mean, we saw a dive later. We don't have actually a replay for that. But Keen just playing against that Mundo so happily. He's farming. He's harassing. He's got the grievous wounds. And then he finally gets the dub.
Yeah, Keen just went off.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
actually, just said the spotlight was on me. Because from that point forward, he was the first trade that came through. You're like, all right, so he's doing quite well here. There's a 2-man kill. So they trade for his life. This was the great play coming in to begin with. And this happens twice, by the way, where someone thinks that their life is fine because they stopwatch. But you're still stacking, buddy. You're still stacking. So he dies here. But then the 1v1 kill happens immediately after that. And then so it really was the Keen show, because he just kept getting the execution kills.
And the big thing for me is, you know, Papa said it on cast. This is a guy who is rising to the top very quickly in a very stacked top lane pool. I mean, they're the likes of Khan, of Smeb, these top lane gods that are clashing around the LCK. And it's Keen who represents at Asia Games. It's Keen who goes 10-1-2 on Darius and just smurfs through this game.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, look, Smeb comes into the LCK, challenges everyone else to be able to take him on his throne on the top side of the map, and Keen responds with that. It makes me that much more excited to see what he can do once the regular season continues, because Keen, fabulous performance on the Darius, and it kind of gives you a good light on him.
Of course, that being said, we've now